The Wimmera River snakes its way north from the Pyrenees Ranges all the way to the terminal lakes of the northern Wimmera and southern Mallee. It's a massive arterial system that flows into the southern end of the Murray-Darling Basin. Reports of the value of recreational environmental water feeding into the system consistently tell us its socio-economic worth is between $20 and $30 million a year. That's a massive amount. There's been plenty happening in the river of late, prompting community anxiety and all sorts of discussion. We're speaking with Wimmera Catchment Management Authority Chief Executive David Brennan, just to give us an insight into what's been going on. Welcome, David.
Thanks, Dean, and thanks for an opportunity to talk about what's happening with the Wimmera River.
Now, like I said before, there's been a lot happening in the river. It's a beautiful setting. We all know that it's a wonderful thing for the communities all the way from right from down in the upper catchment right up to Japarak. What's been going on?
Yeah, look, there's a lot been going on. So the Wimmera River, 280 kilometres in length. So that's why there's been a bit going on. And I guess what's unusual this year is that we've had some pretty serious water quality issues. So at the start of the year, we had some storms around the Glenorchy area. So that resulted in up to 100 mils of rain in some places. And the intensity of that storm created a lot of turbidity and captured a lot of leaves and bark and seed cones and debris along the riparian zone and across farmland as well, and a lot of that ended up in the Wimmera River. And so what we've had is some water quality issues from a salinity perspective and from a dissolved oxygen perspective. So I'll chat about the salinity issue at the moment. What that has been is, and this isn't unusual, so this happens in summer where we get separation of the river, so it results in pools. Those pools of water during summer, as they evaporate, it leaves a higher concentration of salt. So as we get some flows going through the system, the flows pick up those pools, that salt water then starts to make its way through the system. And so we've had what we call a slug of salt water go through the system right at the start of January, and that wasn't great. And then we've had a double whammy where we had some additional rain in the upper catchment towards the end of January, and that was a much more broad scale rain event where there was at least 60 to 100 mils in the upper catchment again, that's making its way all the way through the Wimmera River.
So we've heard the term blackwater come up a lot, or the threat of blackwater. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so essentially that's all the organics, so bark, leaves, gum nuts, nectar, any sort of vegetation goes in the water system. Then there's a lot of bacteria and a lot of microbes that start to break down. And then what we do is we see discolorization, and that's what creates the look of the black water. But then most importantly is as those microbes break down and the bacteria is all working, it consumes a lot of the oxygen in the water. And so when that takes the oxygen out of the water, that creates essentially a black water event. And most of the ones that we speak about is associated with a fish kill.
So it sounds like it's quite a natural thing. Is it natural, or what's the story behind that?
Yeah, look, it is natural. It does happen most over summer, and if you think about trees, that is when they shred the most leaves and gum nuts and bark. So there is a big accumulation of litter or vegetation litter over summer. What's unusual in this circumstance is that basically from living memory, we haven't had two rainfall events in summer happening at the same time in the river system. So the last time we had anything that was similar to this was 2011, the floods then, and they were the largest floods on record. So this is nothing of the scale of this, but it's just something that doesn't happen very often.
And I suppose being isolated, some people downstream haven't seen it happening. But it's been rained quite heavily in the areas of the upper catchment, and so people say, well, gee, how does this happen? Well, it's because of where the rain falls. Is that true?
Yeah, look, absolutely. And unless you're under that rainfall, or you've got farming land or a particular interest in the upper catchment, yeah, you would just say, well, yeah, why is the river flowing? And that's what we're finding out. A lot of people are saying, yeah, it's interesting the river's flowing. It's like, yeah, because we had so much rain in the upper catchment. The river's, 280 kilometres in length. And what also happens is in summertime, when the ground is so hard, it's essentially like rain hitting a corrugated roof. And so it just picks it up and runs. Whereas in in winter, when the ground's got a lot more moisture and there's a lot more vegetation growing and it's more of a pitcher, you don't get these sort of events.